News, an international renowned communication company, Influence Communication, based in Canada, has just completed a research on international perceptions of South Africa ahead of 20 years of freedom and democracy and ahead of South Africa's 5th national elections. Now, last night, they presented the report to a group of influential people in Cape Town. Tonight, they'll be presenting in Johannesburg. Now, to tell us more about the international perception of South Africa is CEO of Influence Communication, Mr. JEAN-FRANCOIS Dumas. Jean, thank you so much for your time and welcome to PM News.
Thanks.
Jean, tell us about your research. What prompted it initially?
First of all, we've conducted that analysis in order to understand the way the South Africa is perceived by the American and European media 1 year prior to the World Cup 2010, and comparing those perceptions after 1 year after the World Cup 2010, in order to understand the evolution of the perceptions. And we've developed the different archetypes, the way the media are maintaining the perceptions on South Africa, and is very interesting because the perceptions are evaluating very fast way, and we especially also because we realize the World Cup 2010 has been a very good event for the country.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, Jean, what did you base your survey on? What factors did you base them on?
In fact, it is an analysis. We gathered all the news items from newspapers in the US and in the Europe for 1 year after the Cup and 1 year prior to the World Cup. And so we're talking about 2.3 million news items.
Wow.
So we've read a lot of papers.
That's a lot of papers, yes.
And then we gathered all those news items, and then we'll be able to build the archetypes, the perceptions regarding South Africa, which are, before the World Cup, very bad. Where the media were talking about violence, apartheid, poverty, HIV.
Corruption.
Corruption. The perceptions regarding the country, because most of the time the country kept a very old perception of the country, but with television, with a lot of coverage during the World Cup, and especially, it's funny because during the World Cup, 18% of all the coverage devoted to World Cup 2010 in the US were about Vuvuzela.
Absolutely,
it's funny.
Yes. It was a big phenomenon.
Yes, but in fact, that coverage had a very huge impact on the perception. And then after the World Cup, now we're much more talking about an emerging market than a developing country. I think it is probably the main message in our report, in our analysis. It is a very positive evolution in terms of perceptions.
Now, Jean, tell us about the unique tool you've designed that actually provides analysis on what the media is saying about the country.
In fact, we're doing media monitoring and analysis on a daily basis in 160 countries, 22 languages. So in that way, we're able to gather information from television, from radio, newspapers, social media, and then we can give a sense to a chaos. We can build different archetypes. We can analyze the way the organization, government, different issues are perceived by the media, by different region, and this is exactly what we did in that project.
Now, Jean, most people don't realize how important the media is in our lives, and there's the perception also that sometimes they're not always factual when they report. How have you ensured that you will get factual information from this device?
In fact, most of the time, when you know very well an issue and you compare the way the media are perceiving or reporting an issue, most of the time there is a major difference in the media. But this is our responsibility to report, not to paying to a judgment on the way the government is communicating, but it's just a sort of snapshot on the way the media are perceiving and maintaining the perceptions related to South Africa.
Very quickly, Jean, now you did a presentation last night in Cape Town. Today's Joburg's turn. What can people expect from this survey? Any positive reviews?
It is a very positive evolution, and I think at this point it could help the people responsible for PR, public affairs activities, to have a very good snapshot of the situation, helping them to develop strategic communication plan.
Thank you so much,
You're welcome.
Mr. Jean Dumas. That was Jean-François Dumas talking to us about the international research on how the world perceives South Africa after 20 years of democracy.